The number one reason why Marvel Rivals players never reach Eternity rank is because you think you need to be gifted to get there, and that's simply not the case. I've helped dozens of players climb in our Discord using proven frameworks that pros have spent years perfecting across countless competitive games, and it works for Marvel Rivals too. If 12-year-olds can hit the top 1% with these 3 simple steps, so can you. Let's just jump straight into the first method to blast your Marvel Rivals rank to Eternity without needing to be a gaming god. There's one concept most players miss, and I'm willing to bet most of you've never thought about it like this. The reason you're shredding the enemy team in one match and then getting stomped in the next is because you think one playstyle fits every game. It's probably something you don't actively think about, but you probably have only one playstyle. Every Marvel Rivals match is a wild multiverse mashup. Different maps, think about it, different heroes, team comps, overall vibes, like how people are typing in the chat if they're mad at you or tilted or whatever, and whether your teammate's Groot is actually helping or just growing walls for the aesthetic. To fix this, you need a method so airtight it'll make enemies think you're reading their minds. This is what's known as shifting momentum. It's as simple as it sounds. You flip your playstyle's rhythm every few fights or engagements to keep opponents guessing. Picture yourself as Spider-Man on any given map. Engages 1 through 3, you're swinging around like you chugged a Red Bull, driving into aggressive flanks, sniping picks with web shots, and setting the pace. You're making enemies sweat every corner they peek. They start looking for you. Then, your engagement number 4, bam, you switch it up. You play chill, holding a sneaky angle, or you lurk in the shadows. You wait a little bit more, you play a little bit more patient, waiting to punish their overextends and pull their unsuspecting tank off the map. This works because Marvel Rivals is as much a mental cage match as it is mechanical. Switching your momentum, fast to slow, aggressive to passive, to sneaky, to whatever you need it to be, turns enemies into a confused mess. They burn abilities, they miss position, and start flaming their own team in chat. We've all had teams like this. I've seen this play out not only in my own games, but I've seen it working with players in my Discord. Players using this method kill opponents so hard they rage quit. Look at top players like Bad GD Player, who means Hulk. Notice how slow and calculated he plays when his team is defending. He doesn't force anything. He plays rather slow. And here's the tough part, it's a bit boring. He jumps in, he does some punching, he forces some abilities out or some enemies to focus aggro on him, and he jumps out. Nothing fancy most of the time in this particular round. And a key piece worth mentioning with playing boring though, he stays alive. He doesn't abandon his team, and he doesn't chase kills. He uses his bubble at smart times to block incoming damage and enemy heals, and he jumps back to his team when things get hairy. Now when he goes on offense, he's a different player. He's playing aggressive. He's definitely taking bigger risks, he's forcing bigger plays, and the enemy team doesn't know what's happening. That unpredictability breaks enemies' brains. He's forcing the lobby to focus him. Look at this, which frees his team up to make more plays. He's jumping further into the enemy backline to make them uncomfortable. He's shutting down revive beacons and demanding direct action from enemy players. He knows he's partially overextending, but he isn't being punished for it enough to matter. He's extracting insane value for his team while the enemy's team's heads are still spinning around figuring out what's happening. Here's the deal. To pull this off, you've got to stay adaptable. Don't spam the same dive every round. If the enemy's stacked with tanks like Magneto or Doctor Strange, play patient and force out more resources from their team. If they're running a solo tank setup, go wild and punish their overconfidence when they overextend. Shifting momentum isn't just about outplaying, it's about making enemies feel like they forgot how to play. If these strats are hitting harder than Thor's hammer, consider becoming a channel member, which unlocks dope badges to flex in the comments, coaching, and more. Link is in the description. Back to the video. Now let's get to the second method. Most of you watching can't tell me your exact plan for hitting Eternity rank. Worse, you probably don't have a plan for balancing Marvel Rivals with real life. No judgment, but if you're grinding multiple hours a day and still stuck in Platinum, let's say, you're spinning your wheels. Enter the block strategy. Think of your day as multi-hour blocks, with each block laser focused on one goal. This isn't about making Marvel Rivals your life, it's the opposite. It's about optimizing your time so you can climb to Eternity in 2 hours a day instead of 6. Here's how I go about climbing while balancing work, a side gig, being a dad. and not turning into a couch dwelling scroll. From 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., I'm a family man. I wake up, pray over my family before I check my phone or do anything else, and then take care of my little boy before dropping him off at daycare. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., I'm working my day job. This may be the same for you, or a lot of you could swap school in for this segment. From 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., more family time. Pick up kiddo, say howdy to the wife, eat food, get kiddo down for bed for the evening. From 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., that's my Marvel Rivals block. From 9:30 p.m. to midnight, that's my content creation block for video setup, recording, and responding to Discord questions and whatnot. This works because it forces you to prioritize. You don't need to live in the game to rank up. That's a 2-hour block for Marvel Rivals, 10 minutes for aim training or hero-specific drills, 20 minutes for reviewing VODs to catch your mistakes, and an hour and a half grinding ranked. Actually play the game. Be brutal with your focus. No scrolling on X, no YouTube rabbit holes. High elo players don't always play 12 hours a day. They play smart for a few hours per day. And sure, high elo players also play 12 hours a day as well, but it's not a necessity to get there. There are diminishing returns here, and the best of the best need to sink more hours in for a multitude of reasons that we don't need to get into with this video. Pro tip, in your Marvel Rivals block, spend about 10 minutes warming up with your main. If you're a Storm player, practice shooting your projectiles toward dynamic bots or in quick play. If you're on Iron Man, work on tracking with your Unibeam. This builds muscle memory, so you're not just hoping for a pop-off game, you're making it happen. I coached a 29-year-old stuck in gold. He was playing 4 hours a day, but had no structure. I got him to block out his days, 2 hours daily, split between drills, just like we mentioned, VOD reviewing, and then ranked. In 2 weeks, he hit diamond. And you don't always have to chunk things down into 2-hour intervals. Do what works for you. Here's another example, and we'll move on. Wise Presence sent me a clip of him playing Winter Soldier in Bronze 2. After one review, he went from Bronze 2 to Gold 3 in the span of 3 days by simply focusing on how we could extract the most value out of his playtime. That's what happens when you work smarter, not harder. Now, the third method is the glue that holds it all together. Skip this, and the last 2 tips are just cool ideas you'll never use. You need to speak it into existence. It is actually like having a free coach who's always got your back. I know this sounds cheesy, but real pros do this. Most players think climbing to eternity is about landing nutty headshots or popping off with an ult to save the point. Nope, it's about decisions. If you can't explain your decisions out loud, you don't really get them. This concept is dead simple. Say what you're doing and why out loud, like you're streaming to a packed Twitch chat. Not in your head, out loud. For example, in a ranked match you might say, I'm peeling for my Luna Snow because our Groot is handling the front line. Or, I'm holding this area down because their Psylocke keeps flanking. This does 3 things. It keeps you from autopiloting, catches your mistakes in real time, and boosts your comms, which is clutch in a team game like Marvel Rivals. Talking out loud like this is a game changer. Not only does it force you to think more critically in the moment, but it also reinforces the decisions you're making. Now you're actively thinking about holding that flank down, and you said it out loud, so your brain processes this information a minimum of 2 times in comparison to 0 times before. In death matches as Hawkeye, I'd verbalize, I'm holding this angle because it's a high traffic push. My crosshairs at head level, I'm ready for a flick. That sounds like a lot, but let's be honest, there's not always a ton of action going on playing the Hawkers. In ranked, I have literally said, I'm rotating to point as the Punisher because we need more damage to hold objective. It helped me spot dumb plays, like overextending as Doctor Strange with no abilities up. This works outside Marvel Rivals too. When I was grinding for a promotion, I'd say, I'm prepping this report because it'll show my boss I'm reliable and have high agency. When I was cutting junk food, I'd verbalize, I'm skipping Reese's because I want to feel like Black Panther, not a Blob cosplayer. Okay, I didn't say that last one, but you get it. It's like having a hype man in your head holding you accountable. In your next deathmatch, verbalize every angle, ability, and why you're using it. In ranked, verbalize your actions like you're explaining your plays to a buddy. It feels awkward at first, but it's training your brain to think like a pro. It's not about being a genius, it's about building discipline that stacks up. Let's supercharge this section with insights from the book, The Inner Game of Tennis by W. Timothy Gallwey, a 1974 sports psychology classic that's a goldmine for esports and games like Marvel Rivals. Gallwey, a tennis coach turned mental performance guru, wrote this book to help athletes conquer the mental barriers that block peak performance, and his techniques are a perfect fit for the high-pressure, split-second decisions of competitive gaming. His core idea is that your mind can be your biggest enemy or your greatest ally, and speaking out loud is a powerful way to hack it. Gallwey describes two selves: Self 1, the overthinking critic that panics mid-match, and Self 2, the intuitive doer who nails plays when you let it. He coached a tennis player struggling with serves to say, bounce, hit, aloud before each swing, a simple trick that silenced Self 1's doubts and kept them laser focused on the task. Another player verbalized their swing mechanics during rallies, like, I'm tracking the ball's spin, and caught sloppy footwork instantly, fixing it on the spot without a coach. In doubles, Gallwey had a player say, I'm covering the net, to sync with their partner, turning chaotic teamwork into a well-oiled machine. These examples show why speaking your thoughts out loud works. Short, clear phrases keep you present, let you self-correct in real time, and boost leadership through better comms. Verbalize, and you'll outsmart your inner gremlin. These three methods, shifting momentum, block strategy, and speaking it into existence, are your toolkit for Marvel Rivals. They'll help you outplay opponents, maximize your time, and make sharper decisions. But knowing this isn't enough, you've got to do it. Set a 2-hour block tonight. Try shifting your momentum in your next match and verbalize every play. Stick with it, and you'll be styling on eternity lobbies while your friends are still whining in gold chat. If you want hands-on help, consider becoming a member. Thanks for watching, you multiverse MVPs. If this helped you level up your Marvel Rivals game, consider subscribing and joining our Discord. Link is in the description. Also, check out my most recent video where we break down 15 common mistakes you probably make in Marvel Rivals. Until next time!